We just reached out to the Cleveland street preacher. No. Robert Breaker, who's fiercely anti-Catholic. He said no. We just reached out to John MacArthur. Haven't heard anything back from him. Just reached out to Ray Comfort and the people at Living Waters. They said no. I said, well, all right, you don't want to debate. Let's do a friendly ecumenical dialogue. You can have all three of you talk against me. That's fine. Let's just have a discussion because you guys are very much misrepresenting Catholicism. But it's like pulling teeth. It's like they just want to, they're not open. They're not honest. This is so sad because these are the leaders of the Protestant world and they're not even being honest.
And welcome back, everybody, to Hands On Apologetics. We'll be talking about doing just that, defending the faith. And we're going to do it with our good friend, Catholic Brian. Brian Mercer is with us. Brian, as you know, is a professional Catholic speaker, retreat leader, an author, and also a Catholic apologist. He is probably one of the busiest Catholic apologist out there. He has numerous platforms, including on YouTube, Catholic Truth and Catholic Truth Podcast. And you can check out his great stuff at catholictruth.org. And Brian Mercer, welcome back to Hands On Apologetics.
Thank you, Gary. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I wasn't kidding when I said you're like one of the busiest apologists out there. On top of all your stuff, on top of your talks, your retreats, you're also debating.
Yeah, we are debating. We're kind of sick and tired of Protestants who don't know anything. And, I can understand ignorant Protestants or like people who, you're run-of-the-mill people who just don't understand the Catholic faith. But we're talking like, top Protestant theologians, influencers, people who are influencing other people online, pastors, and they misrepresent Catholicism as much or more as the common Protestant who doesn't know anything about Catholicism, which is really sad, really kind of just shoddy research from top to bottom, or they just don't care about what the Catholic Church teaches. And I'm just tired of so much misinformation being put out there. Now, I've been evangelizing Protestants forever, and many just don't know better. But many more, it seems today, have an axe to grind or a vendetta. It's like these are top pastors and theologians, and they're doing what I did when I was at the beginning of my apologetics, at the beginning of my conversion. They're just trying to find any information that'll fit their pre-biased bigotry, the points that they already have in mind, and they just latch onto this information without doing honest research, without doing intellectual research. Almost every week, sometimes almost every day, we have people coming back to the Catholic Church here at Catholic Truth, from Protestantism, former Catholics, angry ex-Catholics, people who are like, oh, we were the ones who hated you, and we've been arguing with you for years and calling you Satan. And now we're coming back to the Catholic Church and we're bowing the knee to Rome. I'm like, what? Because we've taken the time to deal with their misconceptions and their misunderstandings. Some people have these and they're easy to work with, but other people just don't. They just regurgitate their fire, their anger, their I don't know, whatever happened to them in the church, and they just left. Like Mike Gendron, for example, he's been an ex-Catholic for 35 years, and he has a ministry called Proclaiming the Gospel, where his whole ministry is dedicated to taking Catholics out of the church. And he has the same talking points and the same talks all across the board, and everything he says, top to bottom, about Catholicism is false. How can someone who is Catholic and has studied Catholicism for so long, even though he hasn't studied it at all, how can he be so wrong for so long about Catholicism? So here I am saying, you know what, I'm going to challenge some of these people to debate. We need to get this out into the open. We need to have a discussion where people can hear both sides and hear what Catholics believe for themselves.
Yeah. Now, what's shocking is people actually took you up on that, because over the years, I've sent out so many invites to debate, and it's almost always ignored, because they know they can't substantiate what they're saying.
Exactly.
So to actually be able to publicly debate somebody, that's cool.
Yes, it is.
Surprised, by the way?
Yeah, very, because I'm in the same boat you are. I had sent out 20 invitations for debate, and all of them either said no or backed down after they said yes, once we started getting the details ready. And, Mike was, to his credit, Mike Gendron, as angry as he is against Catholics and as much as he misrepresents them, he said yes, and that's, honorable. And so we had a full debate, and, mostly a full debate. debate. He didn't want to have the cross-examination time, which I thought was needed, because you need cross-examination to hold people accountable for the things they say, But and then after that, we had two lesser people recently debate on the topic of sola scriptura. Mike's was on eternal security. We just reached out to the Cleveland Street Preacher, no. Robert Breaker, who is fiercely anti-Catholic, he said no. We just reached out to John MacArthur, haven't heard anything back from him. Just reached out to Ray Comfort and the people at Living Waters. They said no. I said, well, all right, you don't want to debate. Let's do a friendly ecumenical dialogue. You can have all three of you talk against me. That's fine. Let's just have a discussion, because you guys are very much misrepresenting Catholicism. But it's like pulling teeth. It's like they just want to, they're not open. They're not honest. This is so sad, because these are the leaders of the Protestant world, and they're not even being honest. Yeah,
that's true. And I don't understand. Maybe it's because your platform. I mean, your stuff, you're articulate, you're experienced. I have a feeling that would probably scare a lot of people off, because you're not an easy mark, You actually know what Catholicism teaches.
Yes. Maybe that's why Mike Gendron said yes to me, because he thought I was an easy mark. And it was interesting, because he's like, I just want to make sure that I have confirmation that you're going to record this. And I want confirmation that you're not going to edit anything. And I want confirmation that I can share this with everybody after the debate. I said, yes, and yes. And
good.
So I don't think he knew that I knew my stuff, because I didn't send him it from Catholic Truth. I didn't tell him I was from Catholic Truth. I just said I had a podcast, and I sent it from my private email. So unless they're going to go do some research, but once they're on the older side, they generally don't do that. They have other people do that for them. So that's what I do. That's how I've been doing it recently. But I'm going to be reaching out to more and more people for debates. I was stupid. I put 3 in 1 month, and I've just been busy. But that's why I couldn't do your show last month, because I was insanely busy. Because it takes me a month to prepare for one debate, 1 month. And then I put 3 in a month. And so I was like every day, every night, every minute, I was just cramming, because I'm someone who likes to know everything. And I have to watch all the other people's videos, all their debates, all their talks, everything.
Yeah, that's incredibly important. So you spend, who knows, maybe 10 times the amount of time, at least, researching, getting prepared before you spend like an hour or two debating, And that's a mark of a good debater, by the way, because I've seen debates where there was no preparation, very little preparation, and they just get hammered left and right. But when you know your stuff, that's pretty formidable. You're a formidable opponent. So good for you.
Thank you. Mike, I don't think was prepared as much as he, should have been, perhaps. Because I think, it's a Catholic. I know all about Catholicism. I don't need to really worry about anything. And I have my same old talking points. I'm just going to use the same thing. No Catholic can answer that. And in fairness, he's brought up many of these points to Catholics, and they've said, oh, well, I don't know. I got to talk to my priest. He's like, oh, well, I'll come talk to your priest with you. And he goes to the priest and talks to them. And the priest can't answer his questions either on the Bible. And the priest looks like someone who doesn't know what he's talking about. And so we have priests and Catholics who seriously need to learn apologetics. Really, it's getting to the point where if you're a priest and you can't defend your laity, you can't defend the people who are coming to you to protect you from the wolf, then there's something that needs to be done. You need to learn your faith. Stop doing everything else and start protecting your flock. Teach them. That's another thing we need to do in our church, is we need to teach our flock. We need apologetics. We don't just need CCD. We have CCD every week. We have religious education, and yet we're graduating tens of thousands of teens every year who don't know anything, who are being picked off at every corner. We need apologetics. We need to teach them to deal with all the stuff they're going to hear in high school, college, work, and this goes for adults too. We just need more apologetics from priesthood down. And it's one of my dreams that I could teach priests apologetics sometime, or teach them how to evangelize others, teach them how to successfully inform others, teach others, influence others, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because catechesis tells you what we believe. Apologetics tells you why we believe what we believe. And
how to defend it.
Difference. Yeah, that's a big, big difference. It's really night and day as far as being able to protect yourself. And at the very least, if there is a priest listening that isn't up on apologetics, at the very least, you should be able to plug them into somebody who is a seasoned apologist like yourself. If, a doctor doesn't know all fields, he's a general practitioner, but he should refer them to experts, right? So
exactly.
At least you should be able to do that.
Yes. I mean, I just send them to our website to read our articles on that topic, or our YouTube channel, or send them to Catholic Answers. I mean, I send people away when I don't know the answer. I mean, there are certain people like Michael Lofton who have expertise in certain fields that I don't have. So I send them to him, to get the full answer.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't be an expert in every field, but you need to know where the answers are. And so, wow, that was a brilliant move about, approaching it from a low profile. And he bit. And so tell us a little bit about how long was the debate? You said it was on eternal security, right? Yes.
Can we be saved and can we lose our salvation?
Okay. And how long was the debate?
I would say it was about an hour and a half. And that was without the cross-examination section that I really wanted and we needed, I thought.
Yeah. And that's a shame, especially when somebody is fabricating stuff. The cross-examination area is like really where you uncover, show that they're fabricating.
And not just fabricating stuff, but he was I don't want to call him a lowlife, but he used dirty debating technique and tactics. It reminded me of James White. It would be something James White would do. So it was the last section. I had my last 5 minutes to answer. And he said, I hope that Brian will answer these questions that no Catholic can really answer. And he asked me, I think 13 or 15 really deep questions on eternal security. Just some of them here, he just rapid fired them all too. He said, how can one who is born of incorruptible seed suddenly die again? If you're incorrupt, that means you can't die, he said. And then he goes on to say that if you were a new creation, how can you revert to what has passed away? He said, how has one who has been perfected forever, according to Hebrews 10:14, suddenly become imperfect since Christ has perfected him? How can God's irrevocable gift of eternal life be taken back? Is God unfaithful, he says? How can the good shepherd fail to protect his sheep? Are you saying that God is unfaithful? So he went through all of these, and I had 5 minutes, and I called him out on it too. I said, thanks, Mike, for waiting to the last section to ask all of your deepest and most abundant amount of questions. I was like, that's very honest of you. And he got a little chuckle because he knew he did that.
Yeah, right. Sandbagging, right? You just
exactly
just plow the person out with a giant bunch of, usually they're pretty irrelevant questions, but still, yeah, it's like there's no physical way you can answer all that. So good for you for calling them on that.
Yeah, we made 2 videos, follow-up videos to the debate. One on the first part of the debate where he asked a lot of questions we couldn't get to. And then the second video, which was 45 minutes just answering these 13 questions. And he wanted me to answer them in 5 minutes.
Yeah. That just shows how absurd it is.